My name is Bond.
James Bond.
Shaken, not stunned.
Do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
I'm now aiming precisely at your groin.
That's not funny, 007.
For England, James? No.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Enter the BondVerse, where we are going through every single movie in the James Bond franchise, and I'm here as always with my lovely co-host Nathan. I'm Kyle, I forgot to say that, and boy Nathan, I can't wait to talk about this one. This is a real highlight, you know, we're really ramping things up towards the end here.
Oh yeah, this is if we haven't jumped the shark yet, we are fast approaching the ramp.
I don't know if it's just, you know, Nathan, this our 25th episode of this? 26th?
This will be 25th, because we done Never Say Never Again, and No Time to Die is Bond 25, so this is episode 25 now.
Yeah. I don't know if the fatigue is setting in, but I didn't enjoy this movie very much.
I was surprised when I read in your notes that you found this film kind of boring, to be honest. I think this movie does have some pacing issues broadly, and there is a specific plot point that a lot of people do not like about this film. But I think broadly people are lukewarm on this, but they don't dislike it necessarily. It's certainly a step down from Skyfall.
I mean, obviously, I think of the 4 movies we've watched with Daniel Craig, this is easily the weakest one so far.
Interesting, you think this is worse than Quantum?
Oh yeah, 100%, yeah.
No, that is interesting.
Is it? I feel like this, I don't know. I was not impressed by this movie at all. We'll get into it. We're talking about Spectre, by the way. I don't know if we said that.
Bro, yeah, I think it's generally accepted that the worst James Bond movie of the Daniel Craig era is Quantum. So for you to say that you think this is worse than Quantum, I think for listeners to the show, that's your big upset take. You have said like a big oof already.
Okay, sure. Fine.
And listen, I'm not saying you're wrong for that big oof take. I haven't actually said, like, I just said it's surprising, you know?
Again, it might just be the fatigue talking, but I think this was one of the weakest ones we've watched of all of them, to be honest.
Interesting. I think, I'll tell you my position on this. I think I like this film.
Okay, sure. You can talk about that, I suppose. You can explain yourself.
So, this is definitely a break in the philosophy that they were kind of building with these Bond movies. You know, the 2006 reinvention was bold and very successful, and we didn't have access to certain elements of the older stuff that Connery had access to. This is them almost reinventing the franchise mid-actor, as opposed to a fresh start with a new actor. And I think it's really interesting to see. This film is definitely a turn to a campier, older Bond tone. And you pick up on that in your notes with a couple of things. You know, you're like, that's like a Roger Moore bit, you know, at some points.
Yes. That's definitely what they're going for. I think it's ill-conceived.
Ill-conceived, yeah. Well, so this is the first time, I think, since John Glenn that we've had a returning director. Sam Mendes returned from Skyfall to do this. Which is
crazy, because this movie feels really different from Skyfall. So
he initially was not going to be returning. He returned after the director that they did kind of have on their wish list dropped out. I'm not sure on the reasoning. That's because we're bad researchers on this podcast.
How far into production was that?
They hadn't started yet. They hadn't shot like anything, and I don't think that he had much to do with the script or anything like that, you know?
Okay. So this isn't like a Justice League situation?
No, this isn't a Justice League situation. They hadn't filmed anything. I actually think this is very much a Sam Mendes movie. It's the aesthetic, if you like. I think it feels very Sam Mendes.
I don't know, but Skyfall was so like visually interesting and cool, and I can barely remember. Like, I can remember what happens, but I can't remember a single scene that like stands out as like, wow, that's like a cool shot, you know?
Really? I think I can remember.
I guess there's the opening shot, but
I think I find a lot of the visuals in this movie, apart from there are iconic shots in Skyfall, I think there's a lot more wow imagery in this, actually. I think you've got...
Okay, well, you can tell me when we get to that.
Oh, you've got the shots of, Spectre around their big, massive wooden table. I think all the Day of the Dead stuff looks gorgeous. I think in Skyfall, the shots that stick out to me is like the iconic shot of Daniel Craig standing at the DB5 in Glencoe, thank you. You've got like Daniel Craig running through the streets of London. It was he's running to save Judi Dench, and then you've got the shot of Silva in his like Joker cage in MI6. But that's kind of it. I think this movie really, like at the funeral in Rome, just gorgeous, really really nice. The shots of Bond DB10 and Mr. Hinks, we'll call him that. The film never does. We will. Them racing through the streets of Rome at night. We do know that the streets are obviously quiet, but it's just gorgeous to look at.
I totally disagree. I thought that whole sequence was incredibly boring.
Gorgeous to look at. I will say that I did look at my phone to take some notes during it. But there's shots in it. There's tons. I think the cinematography in this film is really, really nice, actually. Like I say, though, there's pacing problems, but I can disconnect cinematography from pacing.
Okay, well, this is going to be an interesting episode because we clearly have very different impressions on this film.
Well, so I will try and preface. I think you're quite proud, not proud, but you're quite certain of how you feel about this film. I know how I feel about it, but I'm definitely going to be I'm going to be playing defense for a film that I actually don't love, right? I'm going to be in that awkward spot where it's like how everyone felt about Superman. Everyone thinks 10 out of 10, and I'm like, yeah, it's a solid 7. And you fall into the position of, because you don't like it as much as everyone else,
you have to justify your position and you come off as the biggest hater.
Yeah, you come off as the biggest hater. I think I'm going to have the direct inverse discussing this with you. I'm going to be defending a film that like isn't like one of my top Bond movies anyway, I just like it probably more than you do. I think I like it appropriately as much as an average Bond hater should, Because there is wild stuff in this film, Kyle, that after we've got some positivities and negativities out the way that we'll probably unite on, Don't worry, me and you will finish this with, like, agreement.
I'm probably coming across as too negative as well, because I don't think this movie's terrible. Like, I don't want to give that impression. It's not like a train wreck or anything. I don't think we've really had any train wreck movies in the series, which is pretty impressive considering we're on 25.
Yeah, we're in 50 years. We forgot to mention that Skyfall was the 50th anniversary Bond movie, 2012, 1962, yes. And we just didn't mention it.
Like, yeah, I think my main problem with this movie is I just found it quite boring and quite dry and quite dull. Like, that's not like a major flaw. It's just an issue. I wouldn't be rushing to rewatch this one anytime soon.
Most people never rush to rewatch this film. You will find plenty of people that agree with you there. Why don't we jump into it?
Yes, let's jump into it. So we're in Mexico City. Oh, sorry, we get like a title screen first.
Yeah, we get a very, very loud and proud Bond gun barrel, and then we get hit with like it's like the start of one of the Denis Villeneuve Dune movies. I think like
no, it's like the start of Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker. Nathan, the dead speak.
Dead speak, yeah. No, so yeah, we get hit with a black screen and a bit of text, and it says the dead are alive, which is a very. I think when you start at the Day of the Dead parade, it seems relevant, but I actually don't understand its relevance as the film goes. Well, no, I do actually.
I guess it's a reference to Christoph Waltz, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess. I just don't like why did they feel creatively compelled to put this in at the start? Is it so that everyone is thinking in their head, okay, someone that we thought was dead is alive, even though no one knew who this person was? Or is it to go with like, Spectre as like an intellectual property has been dead to us since we made the film Diamonds Are Forever, but like it's back, baby.
I think I talked about this ages ago in a Discovery video. I think you were in that video. I had you voice it. It's if you put text on a black screen, it just makes your thing look more artistic. It's like, oh, this means something. This is really deep.
So you're calling Sam Mendes a hack?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, we do have that opening title card, and then we're Mexico City. This gorgeous parade, Day of the Dead. What is that in Spanish? De Muerta or something?
I don't know. I was trying to remember.
But gorgeous parade, and we come down this gorgeous big one take, and there's this man in a white suit going through with a mask on, and he overpasses a guy in a big black tuxedo with a white skeleton and a top hat on the outside of it, and he's got a cane, he's got a woman around his arm, and they follow him, and they kind of part ways with him slightly, and then they go up into a hotel room. And it's all one big take, and we're following the guy in the black tuxedo and the top hat and tails. We end up in the room.
Well, I will say, and this could just be me watching for things like this, especially in long takes. It's like, okay, where are they hiding the cuts? Because there's a moment where the camera focuses on like a poster, and like, okay, that's a cut right there. They're focusing on the poster, then they go back, and that's a new cut.
Yep.
And again, I'm sure most people don't notice that, but I notice that sort of stuff.
Yeah, well, so this obviously, Sam Mendes would go on a couple of years after this to make that movie 1917, which is like the World War One movie that is like all in one take.
Right,
It's a very good film. Lots of big celebrities do cameos in it. But obviously it's not all one real take. There's a bunch of blended takes and all that. There's actually one screen break in it as well, where they have to break it. But apart from that one break, it's meant to give the illusion of one continuous shot for like almost 2 hours. Or over an hour anyway.
Yeah.
And it's really good.
It's like Halo Infinite.
Like Halo Infinite, yeah. God. But I think that in the same director, so I wonder if this is him just like he likes his one takes and he's just...
He likes his one shots, yeah.
He's trying to see if he can... If maybe this is a feasible thing to do a whole film on. But I really like it. Yeah, you can see some of the breaks, you're paying attention. The average person can't. Tell you what, Kyle, I bet the average person wouldn't even be able to tell you that it was all one shot.
That's true, yes.
They probably, because they like blink, they like look down at their feet and get their popcorn, or they glance at like the wall. Some people are just, their attention spans will wane, and they'll be like, oh, this is a scene of somebody just walking. I can like pick up my juice sitting in my cup holder right now in the cinema.
I will say, they do that like cinematic shorthand, which is when you're in Mexico, everything's yellow, so there's a yellow filter over this entire sequence, and it's like, sure. But I was just like, are we still doing that in 2015? I guess we are. Mexico's always got a yellow filter on it.
I quite enjoyed, so the lady Bond's with, because the guy takes off the mask, by the way, and it's James Bond, and
yes,
she lies down in the bed, and the camera does like a slow 360 to background to where Bond was standing in the skeleton suit, and he's holding it like it's a pajama one piece, and he's like regular spy suit underneath it. He's like, I'll be right back, as he sort of throws it like a onesie onto the bed. And that suit is tight, let me tell you. That it must have been tight to wear underneath the skeleton suit.
Yeah.
And he's walking across the roof, and he gets to this little ledge where you can see across to a meeting at a window across from him. And the man that he was following is having a meeting there, and he holds up his hand like a little salute to the people there. And they're having a meeting about, setting off a bomb in a stadium in Mexico City. And this man is called Sciarra, and he is being sent on a mission after Mexico City to kill someone called the Pale King. And just as Bond is about to eliminate the targets in this room, his laser sight reflects on the glass at a funny angle, and he gives the game away. And now we must...
Well, the people in the room, they make a toast to death.
Yes, they do. Very thematically relevant.
Very clever guys, yes.
Bond then, as he's one to do in this franchise, hits like a gas pipe that's opened, and he causes a big explosion in the room, killing everyone.
Well, I assumed it was the bomb that was supposed to be planted in the stadium.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, you're probably right. And
because I think Bond says later, better a block than a stadium full of people or something when he's talking to M.
Yes, he does. He does say that. You're right. So this then causes the building Bond's on to sort of shudder and collapse as well. And Bond...
Yeah. Well, I think the facade of the building sort of collapses onto the one he's on or something.
Oh, yeah. Kyle, you're right at everything here. I'm just going to keep saying that. You're right. Now, Bond, again, somehow had a listening device in that room. I think he must have patted it onto Sciarra's suit as he passed him in the street earlier or something. But, as the building that Bond is on sort of collapses, Bond sort of slides down the roof and ends up in a destroyed room where he sort of falls neatly down onto a little couch. Yeah. A little sofa.
Yeah, and that's when you're like, oh, is that what we're doing in these movies now? Where he's landing on a couch in a collapsing building?
I like it. So one of my first notes up as far as the gun barrel is like the Bond theme and the barrel right at the start of the movie. Like something has changed here. Like we're embracing sort of Bond tradition. And relative to the last three movies, I mean, where that's not been the case at the start of a film. So it's nice that it's not nice, but it's interesting. I can see that this entire film is going to be one about embracing some sort of tradition. I think this film has 1 foot in the Craig era and 1 foot in the old incarnation.
That's what I was going to say. If you're going to do like Roger Moore goofiness, just you have to commit to it, because this movie is so half-hearted about its like goofiness.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he'll land on a couch, but he doesn't do like any quips about landing on the couch or anything. He's like, oh, you know, it's like, oh, the upholstery or whatever. I don't fucking know. But it's just like, it's just a quick visual gag, and it just in an otherwise very serious scene, and it's like, this doesn't work at all. This is like so out of place.
He does have quips in this movie, like where he decides to not take the protein shake and he's like, pour that down the toilet, cut out the middleman. You know, like he does do bits in this movie.
That feels like the kind of humour that Bond would always do, though. Like, that doesn't feel new, especially. It's like the world being more comedic that's new.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because, like, Bond in Casino Royale, he did the thing where he, like, drove around and he's like, oh, I'll take you home, and he drives around the thing. He's doing bits in Casino Royale.
Yeah, he's doing non-verbal bits. Yeah, so Bond ends up down in the street after this landing, and we end up in this big pursuit through the parade, sort of stalking, Bond is stalking Sciarra, and we end up right in this, like, town square. This is like the old city, because we get up higher up and we see there's, like, new builds. It's not all just old. That helicopter is coming to extract Sciarra from the area, and somehow all the people in this massive town square are not at all freaked out at a helicopter flying very low until we get the wide shot of obviously people having dispersed to let it touch the ground. But broadly speaking, at some of the approaching shots, everyone looks pretty non-phased.
Yeah, it's important to note, in the wide shots, it's like a sea of people.
Oh yeah,
too.
this is like a concert. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bond sort of sees this as he needs to now make a run for it. He can't keep stalking Sciarra. Sciarra's about to get in a helicopter, so he just runs for him and he makes it to the helicopter. We end up having this big fight on board the helicopter, and it's quite fun. It's well shot, and the helicopter's starting to do like dives towards the ground, upside downs and spins. And on the ground, these wide shots, people still seem entirely not they're not fussed. But in
no one's running away.
In post-production, they've added these like frantic horror screams everywhere. Which, listen, it might be appropriate, but to me it sounds so like it's canned laughter. It's canned screams. You know, I'm very aware of it. I think it was really difficult for them to construct this scene, and they're doing all the helicopter stuff practically. This isn't fake. But it's all the other stuff around.
There's some close-up shots of like the stuff in the helicopter that looks very green screeny to me. But all the stuff on the outside of the helicopter is pretty cool.
I don't presume that they're actually doing the real stunt fighting at the same time as the stunt flying. But no, I do. I understand what you mean. But Bond is able to take the little cultish ring that you notice Sciarra wearing, and he takes it off of his finger and then proceeds to kick Sciarra out of the chopper and kill the pilot of the helicopter. So F Sciarra, Harlan knew you.
Yep.
And Bond gets that helicopter, pulls it up, Bond theme goes, we get half Bond theme, it goes like da-da, da-da-da, and then he flies, and then you get the writing on the wall motif, and then Bond looks at the ring and he sort of ponders it. He's quite proud of himself that he's been able to pull this off, and the camera sort of goes right through the logo of the ring, which is like a little squid. And it's the Spectre logo.
It's like a Hydra logo, yes.
Yeah. Well, so it's funny because they started filming this in 2014, the same year that Winter Soldier came out.
You think they were watching that like, fuck?
I think that, no, we talk about how Bond takes trends, Skyfall takes a lot from The Dark Knight. And this is...
You think this movie's taking from Winter Soldier?
Yeah, actually I do. Yeah, especially given that Sam Mendes originally wasn't going to direct this, so their window for production was a lot shorter.
Okay.
And that film also deals with like big state surveillance and removing civil liberties and stuff.
That's true. It does. Yeah.
I think that film does it better.
And it has like the villain is like an old friend, sort of a brother figure.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah. So this is welcome back, Bucky Barnes, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that that's like my favourite MCU movie, but this isn't my favourite Bond movie.
It's not that crazy. One of them's good, one of them's not good. So,
but yeah, I suppose subject matter doesn't necessarily make or break the quality. So we're in this opening title, Kyle, and we have the writings on the wall by Sam Smith, What do we think of their song?
Okay. This is my hottest of hot takes, but I just don't like Sam Smith. I just don't like their music. I don't like their singing voice. It's very whiny. I've never liked Sam Smith, so the song, it doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, I think most people would be in your camp for that. I think a lot of people don't really like this song, though you're going wider to say I don't like the person either.
I am going wider, yes. I'm fine with them as a person, I just don't like their music, okay?
Yeah, you just wish they would like be a coffee barista or something. Yeah. Like, I'm sure you're a nice man. Like you're a nice person. You deserve your life and your liberty and happiness. But please don't sing.
Like other people clearly enjoy it. It's just not for me. Okay,
Yeah.
It's just not for me.
Well, you know what's wild about this song, Kel? It won an Academy Award.
Yeah, I saw that in your notes.
Oscar-winning
I guess
Bond song.
it's very dour, which is another thing because you see this movie's embracing like the Roger Moore sort of goofiness,
Yeah.
right? There's such a dour song to go with that. This is like a we're all going to die depressing song.
I think this film, like I said earlier, has 1 foot in the past, 1 foot in the future, and this intro is very much 1 foot in the present. You know, this is Daniel Craig Bond intro to the max. It's existential. It's quite sappy. I think the song's incredibly melancholic.
Yep, that's the word.
Contemplative about how far you've come and it's all led to this. And this was meant to be Daniel Craig's last Bond movie. So this was meant...
Oh, you can definitely tell, yeah.
And I actually love the visuals of this intro. I think it's brilliant. I really, really like it. And
You like tentacle sex?
I love
Nathan?
tentacle sex, Kel. I love it. And...
I'm okay with it, other than the fact that like they do like the flashbacks of the previous movies. I just like I don't need this. I don't need like a shot of Silva, and I know it comes back later, but I also don't like that either.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's part of just the construction of the film, you know.
yeah.
So this like they are leaning on it's all led to this moment kind of films, and this song, despite me thinking that it's a bit melancholic and a bit just downer, with the visuals, because I think it's got quite a Bond aura. It's quite, it's got the orchestra. It's quite dramatic. It's just not like funky. It's not Man with the Golden Gun aura. It's I think it is just quite Bond soaking though. And with the visuals of the intro and such, I think this song almost works for me. I kinda like it. Separate from the specific instance in which it's played with the intro to this Bond movie though, I don't think I would just sit and listen to it as I'm like walking to work or I'm like on the train, you know?
Yeah.
It's a whatever song. It definitely is low in my rankings. There are, I think probably this might be my least favourite Bond song.
Oh, you really hated the one from Octopussy.
Interesting, because I can't remember the one from Octopussy anymore.
It's All Time High.
Oh yeah, we're an
believe it's
all-time
the- yeah.
high. Yeah, I did hate that, didn't I? Yeah.
You were very vocal about your hatred of that one.
Yeah. Maybe I like this one more, but that's because this one's just more memorable, I think. But that's because this one is like a contemporary song of my following and enjoyment of the franchise.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, so we come out of these credits and we're immediately just taken to London, aren't we?
Yeah, we're in a meeting with M. He's giving Bond a bollocking for going rogue because apparently he wasn't actually on a mission in Mexico.
Yeah, he was on holiday and just got roped into he was being a good citizen, just trying to stop terror from occurring when he was there coincidentally. He will not tell M why he was there. M is demanding to know why we're there, what we're doing.
This is Mallory M. Now,
This is
yes.
this is Mallory M. And I think we didn't really this is the appropriate time to talk about it. I think I really like Ralph Fiennes in this role. I think he's a good M.
No, he's good. He definitely captures the more like classic M vibe.
Oh, yeah.
Of the original M, basically.
Yeah, this guy is upper class as hell.
Yeah, but he has some grit to him, which I appreciate.
Yeah, oh he does.
He's seen some shit. He's done the rounds,
Yeah. What they say, he was like an army captain in Northern Ireland and stuff. Got kidnapped by the IRA.
Something like that. I will say probably my favourite part of this movie is the MI6 supporting cast. I would watch a whole movie. I really like this team we've built up. We're all in the car at the end. You've got like all these characters. Like I would watch a movie of these guys doing a heist or something.
Yeah, so we've got, who have we got? We've got M, we've got Tanner, we've got Moneypenny.
We've got Bill Tanner.
We've got Q.
Moneypenny. Q.
Yeah. That's a good team. I quite enjoy Bond being part of the mix though.
Yeah, no, I agree, yeah.
But we're meeting a new character this week, aren't we, Kyle?
We do meet a new character, and Nathan, I think he might be a villain.
I
don't know, something about...
We meet the character Moriarty, who is literally
the
called...
character James Moriarty, yep.
Yeah, from the BBC show Sherlock. It's Andrew Scott playing the role of Max something. What's his name, Kyle? I just call him C.
I can't remember. I just call him C as well.
So Bond... So he's the new... Joint Chief of the Intelligence, because MI5 and MI6 are being merged together to be one super entity. And because he's like the Chief of the Intelligence, Bond's like, oh, we'll call you C. And the guy is, Andrew Scott, is like, no, you just call me Max. And Bond's like, no, I'll call you C, I insist. He's like, okay, whatever. So
Andrew Scott in this movie I feel like...
He feels like someone entirely added in reshoots.
I don't know about that, but like I feel the same way with Christoph Waltz in this movie, which is he's cast because he's previously played a charismatic villain, and they just told him, just do that again, and gave him like no further direction on what this character should be.
I agree with you there, though I disagree with you on Christoph Waltz, but I agree that could be the case for this.
Oh, I don't know. We'll get to Christoph Waltz, but I think he's just doing Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, I so disagree with you. It's amazing how much I disagree with you there. But I really think...
But Andrew Scott's just doing Moriarty, slightly toned down a little bit, but like it's like the same vibe.
A less camp, less mentally insane, but yeah.
Yeah, but he's got like the sort of like the wide-eyed stare and the sort of timid nervousness thing going on. Yeah,
where he kind of always has his chin facing his shoes.
Yes.
I agree with you there. So Moneypenny sees Bond outside the HQ. It's like, hey, we've got some of your personal effects were just released from the Skyfall incident. And Bond's like, oh, perfect, bring them over to my place tonight. So we kind of cut later, and Moneypenny has now come to Bond's flat. And Bond's flat just looks like he's moved in seconds ago.
Bond lives like a 20-year-old college student, yes.
Yeah, I mean, would that give...
So that's his TV on the floor.
That gives the impression that he lives in like a frat house. I think his place looks amazingly stark and Spartan. And like anything that he's like bought the bare essentials but has no idea how to like interior decorate, despite his amazing fashion choices.
I trust that Bond knows how to mount a telly, okay?
Yeah, but he doesn't care, you know? It's not really like an inability, it's an indifference. The TV, is it plugged in? Does it run? And can it sit up straight? That's what I need.
It's just a weird vibe, you know?
I actually think this flat boils down this incarnation of Bond perfectly. I get it. I see when I see that his apartment like that, I'm like, oh, this entirely makes sense. Of course, this is what this Bond's apartment would look like. It would look like an absolute mess.
Well, okay. The thing is, this is to set up like his like return to humanity at the end of the film, which is very poorly built up in this movie. So sure, like I get what you're going for, but I don't think it works.
Well, quite like what M done, Moneypenny also asks, "What the hell are you like doing? Why are you in Mexico City?" And he's like, "I can't tell. I don't trust anyone." Or Moneypenny kind of says all this for him, but Bond would then proceed to turn on his television to a thing that he just has queued up, apparently. Maybe he was always going to show Moneypenny that night. And
I think that's the implication, yes. That's why he invited her over.
Yeah, true. And it's a little video clip of Judi Dench.
It is. A little Judi Dench cameo.
I guess when you think it's going to be your last movie and you cut Judi Dench out just before the end, like, bring her in for a little thing, you know?
Sure, yeah. It's like, what, like a 5-second clip? It's not much work. I guess you gotta sit in the makeup chair, get the costume all done, but
yeah. Set, if even. It's her front room.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's definitely one of those type situations. And it's nice. You know, it's nice that she done it, though, right? Because Judi Dench is...
It's nice that she did it. I don't know if it's really necessary to the movie other than a little bit of fan service, to be honest.
I think it's meant to be the personal motivation to give Bond to do it.
But he already had the personal motivation of Vesper. I guess we've forgotten about that by now. But, like, that was his original reason for going after this organisation.
Well, that got all wrapped up in the Quantum of Solace, you know?
Did it, though?
I think pretty explicitly that was sorted, yes.
Well, no, because he interrogated Green about the organisation, and then he got the information, and then we just sort of didn't follow up on that in Skyfall.
I'm of the belief that at the end of Quantum of Solace, that duology, and they're standing out there, he doesn't kill Vesper's ex that's giving the Algerian love note to the Canadian Secret Service agent, and M says, it's good to have you back, and he's like, I never left, and he drops the Algerian love note in the snow. To me, that is a bookend on the revenge, the hatred for what happened to Vesper. He is moving on. I think that is implicit, because we don't really follow any of the Vesper Lynn stuff.
But that movie now doesn't actually resolve the quantum side of things. That leaves it open-ended, because they say that, like, Dominic Green was shot in the desert, right? So, like, they tracked him down and killed him, so the organisation is still out there.
The organisation is still at large, yes, which then Skyfall just kind of proceeds to not do anything with. Skyfall is very much its own thing.
No. Yes.
But,
not that this movie would have you believe it, but yes, it was.
Yes, yeah, listen, there's a whole bunch of stuff with this film being rushed because they got the rights back to Spectre that they lost after the Thunderball crisis was resolved, the book, and
yes.
They've decided that they can't possibly not use the Spectre lore, so because Quantum is clearly meant to be the Spectre of this era, but now they have Spectre back, they're just rolling through with it, This film probably always would have revisited Quantum, maybe, but I can believe that the love story is done, Now we're just about uncovering secret organisations, Kyle.
I suppose.
Now, there's...
what's funny is the movie also gives Bond another personal connection on top of this one. So,
yes,
sure. It's personal connections all the way down.
Yes, this is a very personal move for Bond, This is his... everything. The storms are beginning, the storm's beginning to gather, and the light begins to fade, as Sam Smith says.
He sends Moneypenny to look into the Pale King.
Yep.
He trusts Moneypenny.
To spy for him within...
because she's popular returning character Moneypenny.
Yes.
Yeah, he's looking through his stuff from Skyfall, and he finds a picture that's very specifically burned, so that the face of one of the kids in the picture is missing. It's Bond. It's an older man, and then there's another kid in the picture, but his face is burned off.
Yeah. Ooh.
It's very mysterious, Nathan.
Who could it be? Yeah, Bond sort of lingers on that image, and it's obscured, and then we kind of cut to like the next day, and Tanner and Bond are taking a little boat trip down the Thames. And we're looking at the old MI6 building, scheduled to be demolished next week, the old girl. And then across the river, we have this...
Still has a big crater in the front of it.
Yep.
Which, as you pointed out in your notes, that building it still exists in London today.
Yes.
You can go see it.
Yeah, I've been there. I think it's the Vauxhall building. It's a gorgeous building. It's really, really nice, actually. Still lit up. It's not a ruin, it's an active building. They built a really good recreation of it being in a wreck for this film.
It just makes it weird that it's like scheduled for demolition in this universe.
Yeah,
it's a commentary, Nathan, on tech industry stuff, I think.
Yes. But this film's not subtle with that, This is George Orwell's worst nightmare, Kyle.
Yeah, it is his worst nightmare. I agree.
Across the river from the old MI6 building is this new spiral, spiky mess that is it sees new digs. And Tanner goes, so you've met him? He's like, yeah, I've seen him. He went to private school. He's friends with the Home Secretary. They went to school together. And he's like, of course. So this is a British political commentary, Kyle, about the political class, Kyle. They're all in it together. It's British corruption, So yes, a good socialist Bond and Tanner. They're the workers condemning the small world of the upper societies.
I can believe that Tanner has some socialist impulses. I don't think Bond has any.
No, I think Tanner's part of the union. I don't think Bond knows what a union is, except something to like crush.
Bond's only politics. Bond's only politics is murder.
yeah, there is, and telling innocent security guards not to fight him. So, we're going through, and we're going to...
We meet up with Q, and Q gives him some smart blood to track his location
Yeah.
at all times because he's under house arrest. And Nathan, how do you feel about this? How do we feel about smart blood?
I mean, I understand that, like, and I tell you what, it's a million miles away from 3 films earlier where M just has like a chip put in his arm. But I guess like that scene
what's
is like
the difference?
Well, that scene is a vulnerability because they cut that chip out of him. I think Le Chiffre cuts the chip out of him.
I guess so. Yeah.
This is like a tracker that they can't detect and they can't actually get rid of. The tracker's on him, which, outside of the plot of this film, I imagine is a generally handy thing to have on your 00 agents, actually. Especially someone who
it feels a bit ridiculous to just walk into this room and it's like, oh yes, I'm Q, I invented nanotechnology in your bloodstream. Okay, Q. Okay.
Oh, exactly. I
guess we're just doing Iron Man shit now.
I think that scene happens so quick, you're not meant to linger on it.
I know, but of course I'm going to linger on it because it's like, oh, it's nanotechnology in your bloodstream. I'm like, what?
Something.
That's ridiculous.
Something. The Bond franchise has always been known for stupid shit, right? You know.
I guess so. Is this any cheaper than a jetpack? I don't know.
And this is like, you know, 1 foot in the, you know, it's the 1 foot in the past thing, you know, wacky things. And
I mean, it's not wacky, and the bigger problem to me is that it almost never actually matters to the plot that he's being tracked.
Yeah, it's more so to add tension of like why he can't get help later on in the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's sort of just more like a thing. It really doesn't become overly relevant to the film. But I can believe that it's a thing that, broadly speaking, they would want their 00 agents to have if they have it in their existence. I imagine being a 00 agent requires you surrendering your bodily autonomy.
I guess so, yeah.
But Q
remember back in the good old days where Sean Connery just had a little tracking device in the heel of his shoe?
God, yeah. I mean, that's exactly what Bond had in Skyfall. It's called a radio.
Yep.
Q wants to show Bond the lovely new Aston Martin DB10 that was meant for him, but has now been given to 009 because he's been suspended.
Yeah, Q's just messing with Bond. Yeah. He's just taking a chance to just really drive the knife in.
Q's just doing bits here because they then look at the wreck of the DB5 and he goes, Bond, I believe I told you to bring it back in one piece, not bring back one piece. And he has a little a little chuckle.
Which, to be fair, like, I know it got destroyed in Skyfall, but like there was more than one piece left. Yeah, you know,
there was more than one piece left. Q, why don't you go and hoover up all those glass shards on the ground? You know, but Bond then asks Q the same way he's enlisted Moneypenny to just cover for him to let him go to Rome because that was the message Judi Dench had left him. Kill Sciarra if I die, and don't forget to miss the funeral, which implies that M is kind of. She's had her own missions separate from 007 missions where she's kind of been tracking this thing.
I guess so, yes.
I'd love to see the Judi Dench spin-off movie. But, yeah, so Bond is now headed to Rome and he needs Q to not activate the smart blood for 48 hours just to let him get a head start. And Q's like, fine, okay, whatever. I have 2 cats and a mortgage, but I'll do it for you, I suppose.
He also gives him a watch and it tells the time, which is a good bit.
Yes,
but he does mention that the alarm is rather loud, if you catch my meaning.
Catch your meaning, yeah. And he's like, perfectly. Bond then also gives Moneypenny a burner mobile phone, which is helpful for useful for communications untracked, though we then find out that it's tracked anyway.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Yeah, that defies the point of the burner phone.
Yeah, completely defies the point of the burner phone, right?
I guess those are making our laptop, sure.
You make whatever, right? So we cut to the next day after. Apparently, M forgot Moneypenny's birthday. Should not forget to mention that, you know. But
yes.
Q
some office pants.
Q goes into the office and he finds that the DB10 is gone and 009 is here to collect it. And there's a bottle of Bollinger on ice sitting on the ground where the DB10 was. And Q's like, oh shit. And then we cut to Bond in Rome driving the DB10 through the streets with the River Tiber next to him. It's gorgeous.
Yep, sure. But I did have to take notes of this because I was bored during the car chase, so I did some Googling.
We haven't had a car chase yet. So you've done the Googling later. Right, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So Bond is given 48 hours of off-the-grid time by Q, right? That's what they agree on.
Starting from basically the second that discussion happens, yeah.
Yeah. He then steals the DB10 and drives it to Rome, which according to Google Maps is about a 24-hour drive. assuming no stops, which, you know, that's insane. You can't drive for 24 hours straight. So more likely we're talking like 2 days of travel at minimum to get to Rome from London. So like, he's already used up all his time to get there, but he could have just flown there, you know? He didn't need to bring the car.
Maybe he put the car in a cargo hauler. He got the car flown in.
Well, that would have taken weeks.
Nah. It's private.
Oh, you mean he took it on a plane?
Yeah.
Is that a thing you can do?
You can take... We've watched Bond movies where, like, luxury sports cars have been their method of escaping out of crashing airplanes.
But that was like a military jet.
Yeah, cargo plane, but... Bond can get a cargo plane, surely.
I guess. I mean, is Bond rich? I guess he is. How much do they pay Bond?
Well, I think Bond probably
Because
earns...
obviously he's doing all of this without the company money.
Yeah, he's currently suspended. I bet Bond probably earns above the median salary in the United Kingdom. He's above inflation.
Okay. Enough to charter in a day a private jet to carry his car to Rome.
Yes. It's James Bond.
I question the
You
logistics.
can buy an expensive bottle of Bollinger and leave it in fucking ground as a bit because he knows Q ain't gonna drink it. You spend that money for no reason. He made a lot of money on the Skyfall Mansion sale, the wreckage, you know?
I mean, the land is gorgeous. You know, you can't deny the land value.
Cannot deny the land value. That's very true, Kel. It's very, very true. So, Bond, this new spy car is just filled with tricks for Bond to look at. He's having a great time looking at all these different switches, you know, something, a little Chekhov spy switch, you know? It's got to go off.
Yeah.
But Bond goes to the funeral. It's gorgeous, big white stone pillars, you know? It's very stark. It looks cold. It looks like it's there at like 10 o'clock in the morning in like an Italian winter. You know, it just looks chilly. It doesn't look like a warm day, even though it's Italy, you know? And he's in Rome.
I'll be honest, I barely even noticed where they were. It didn't register to me at all as being like a cool location.
Oh, this is, you're not paying attention. Brilliant. You're too busy going, that's the back of Christoph Waltz's head, isn't it?
Well, it is the back of Christoph Waltz's head. I was correct.
Yeah, so Bond is standing at the back, kind of just letting it happen. And I think this bit's confusing because I actually thought the back of Christoph Waltz's head was Daniel Craig's head. And then they would do like the short reverse shot. And I was like, why are we doing like a short reverse shot of Daniel Craig's head to his face? But it's like he's looking at the back of his own head.
I know, I thought it was... Who's not paying attention now? I thought it was pretty obvious that Bond was looking at the back of someone's head with the language of cinema.
I have watched this film many times, Kel, so I have obviously understood it. It's just... like sometimes, like when I'm making on third or fourth or fifth viewing observations, these are the things that I'm picking up on, you know? I just think that it looks, to me, it just looked a little bit funny because I think they do have strikingly similar back of heads. But he turns his head and kind of side eyes looks at him, doesn't he?
Yes.
And
But we don't get like a full view of his face because they want this to be a reveal, even though I assume he's on the poster of the movie.
no, I don't think he is. I think the poster for this movie is just Daniel Craig in his like skeleton suit with like a ghost of the skeleton mask behind him.
Well, I mean, he's also in the opening credits.
Yeah, he is,
But yes.
Yeah. It's suspense.
It's a real Wrath of, or Into Darkness situation, this whole thing.
Yeah, what's he called? John Walker or something in that film? John Harriman?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it's called John Harriman. And then he goes, you know, my name is Khan. Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you. But Bond starts speaking to the widow of
more important,
Sciarra, who's not at all upset about the death, but she's going to be sent to her death.
It's Monica Bellucci.
It is from Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
Relatively famous. She's from Beetlejuice. She's in The Matrix.
Yes.
This character's name is Lucia, I believe.
Lucia Sciarra. So Bond follows her home to basically protect her because he knows that she's about to be killed, and she knows that she's about to be killed, and
yeah, she puts on some sad opera music to prepare for
has
it.
a drink and prepares to be shot out in her back garden, and then Bond kills them for her. And he looks like a great assassin here with the gloves and the black suit because he's just come from the funeral. Somehow it's nighttime now as well, by the way. It's a hell of a long drive back to her house.
Well, Nathan, after the ceremony at funeral, there is like an after party.
Oh, yeah, there's like a wake, yes. So
like
they've also
a wake,
back
yeah.
and got leathered.
Yeah.
So Bond tries to get information out of her and to sleep with her, which is just a very Bond of him, I suppose. And she mentions...
Yeah, I did want to know, I believe Monica Bellucci is the oldest ever Bond woman in a movie, so that's something.
Good for
She was
her.
51 when she filmed this.
Good for her.
Good for her. She looks great.
Yeah, she does look great, doesn't she? Scario's widow gives Bond some information related to them. This organisation that her husband worked for is having a meeting tonight to replace him, and Bond thinks that's very useful information. I have this ring here. This will probably hopefully help me get in. And I've contacted my buddy Felix, who works at for the Americans, and he'll get his embassy to come and extract you.
We love a Felix Leiter reference.
We do love a Felix Leiter reference.
He doesn't appear in the movie though, which is a real shame.
Yeah.
But we do get a reference.
Yeah, it's a real shame that we don't see him, but we do get a reference, which is nice. This is very nice. So Bond's going to take Sciarra's ring and go to the meeting that his widow has told him about. And as we get there, gorgeous big building at night time, all in darkness with all these fancy cars outside. Like, it's really, really nice. He goes to the door and he's speaking Italian, and he's like, let me in. And they're like, who the hell are you? And he's like, I'm Mickey Mouse, And he holds up his hand, which has got the Spectre ring on it, and they're like, oh, scusi, and you come. But then after he walks in, there's like some other henchmen kicking about, and they sort of look at each other and they like make a call. So like they've let him in, but they must know.
I missed this. Okay.
So they know that they're expecting someone.
I must have looked away for a second.
Yeah. So they know they're expecting someone who must have like a ring that's rogue, if you like. Like everyone that's on the guest list already accounted for, and this guy's showing up with an extra ring. So this is their imposter, So they're on the lookout. They know he's in the building, and they know what entrance he entered with as well. So they probably know what side of the overhang he's going to be standing on as well. I read your notes, Kyle. I know what your criticism's going to be, right? I'm just telling you that the film does, in fact, address it.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I will criticise the scene so it's all shot so that Christoph Waltz's face is perfectly in shadow so that you can't see his face.
They try to be clever about it.
Okay.
It's that whole side of the table's in darkness because his goons are. There's a guy that sits next to him in light that's giving directions to the new henchman. Then when he steps round to Christoph Waltz's side of the table, he goes into shadow. So they're trying to not make it seem like it's a magic shadow.
Yeah, but like... First of all, practically, why would they do this? Why is the room set up this way? I get because it's not like I don't think Christoph Waltz's identity is a secret. Like to these people in this room, they know who he is.
I think it's about intimidation.
It's about being an homage to the original movies where they never showed Blofeld's face. But like that was because they hadn't cast Blofeld yet.
But they could have. It's not like they were holding down for the special moment. I can believe that this organisation cares about aura and theatrics and intimidation.
I guess so. They're talking about all their evil crimes.
All their evil extorted crimes.
Whatever.
All their gains in like the pharmaceutical company and giving people AIDS in the third world and stuff, and how much money they're making.
We meet Dave Bautista, Metal Thumbs man. Mr. Hanks.
Mr. Hanks, yeah. So there's a man that he kills called Guerra who is going to take over Sciarra's job, and he says that there no more amateurs will be doing it from here on out. And then the guy at the end of the table is like, does anyone else challenge this? Does anyone else want it? Because this guy just seems like he's full of himself. And then Dave Bautista walks in like a fucking battleship coming right out of the set of Guardians of the Galaxy in a suit, and proceeds to crush Guerra's face, eyes, and snap his neck. And everyone just there watching and not phased.
A very unsatisfying silent neck snap, I have to say. It doesn't make it like a crack noise, just like, and then he falls down.
I thought it did make a crack noise, but I did find that Bautista's incredible brutal efficiency just made the whole thing quite horrific anyway.
I would not say horrific because Metal Thumbs is one of the stupidest gimmicks in this entire franchise.
No, but
Metal Thumb Tips, Nathan?
He's so big. He's just so...
That's just Dave Bautista. That's just a big man.
If a big man walked up to me, Kel, and proceeded to put his fingers in my eyes and then snap my neck, it's pretty fucking scary.
But why does he need Metal Thumbs to do that? He could do that without Metal Thumb Tips.
It's a Bond movie, Kel, he's got to have a bit.
And it's a stupid bit. It's a stupid bit, and I will die on this hill. Metal Thumb Tips is stupid.
Listen, I'm not even going to fight you on it, Kyle, but I also think Metal Teeth is an incredibly stupid bit.
But that's like leaning into the bit, though. That's a whole thing, man. It's not like Metal Thumb Tips is like that half and half approach. It's like if you'd given him Metal Teeth, I would have appreciated that more. If this was just Jaws, this was just a new version of Jaws. But it's not. It's a guy and he has metal thumb tips, and it's like or at least give him like metal, like all his fingers are metal.
Like
why
Dr.
is it just
No.
the thumbs? Like Dr. No, yes.
I this is definitely comes down to the one hand in the camp and one hand in the Craig era. You know, like it does. It's trying to walk a line, and I guess by your takeaway that it's just it might as well not even bother. But
Yes.
yeah, no, I just accept it for what it is because you never see them again apart from that scene.
No.
It's never
you
never
don't.
like a
No.
plot point. But yeah, so at this point, the man at the end of the table in shadow, Christoph Waltz calls out Bond, and he says, we're joined here, but we have an imposter, James Bond. And then he says, cuckoo, cuckoo. And then Bond sees his face and he's like, oh my god, I gotta go. And everyone disperses and chases, and Bond gets away in the spy car, and Batista gets in his spy car, assumingly a spy car. Probably not, just a fast car.
I think it's just a fast car.
And just proceeds to chase him through the streets of France, and it's a very long, it's a poorly paced chase scene. Sorry, Rome, yeah. And yeah, I agree with you that it's long and poorly paced, and we won't need to linger on it very much, except to say that at one point Bond flips a switch in the car to see what it does. It's called Atmosphere, and it just plays 009's music tastes, and it's like New York, New York or something. And he's like, oh no. Yeah, funny bit.
I feel like I do want to linger on this chase scene a bit because I feel like it's symbolic of most of the action scenes in this movie of just being boring. Like, they want to do a spy car chase, but then they don't commit to the idea because he hits another switch and it's like the back-facing machine guns or whatever, and then it's like, no ammunition loaded. And it's like, well, why even bother then?
Because it's getting installed on Tuesday, Kyle, like Star Trek Generations and the Enterprise B.
It's just, but like, it doesn't even look like a chase. It just looks like they're driving fast down the streets. It's not like there's no like tension to it at all.
Yeah, there is.
And I
when
feel
Bond
like
gets stuck behind the man in the Fiat 500.
Yes, it's very good bits. Yes, but it's the same later when they're like with the plane sequence. It's like there's not like tension in the scene. This movie just has a distinct lack of tension almost all times.
I think that a lot comes down to the pacing.
Sure, but I think it's also the way it's shot and the way like the action sequences are executed. It's just I never feel tense. I never feel and there's definitely moments where you're supposed to feel tense, but I just don't feel it.
Oh, I felt tension in this movie, especially this fight between Batista and Bond on the train. I think that fight sequence is quite good. But we'll get there. Hopefully we'll get there kind of soon, because this is a long movie and there's a lot of nonsense that we've got to go through first. So, yeah, Bond then leads this chase scene to the banks of the River Tiber, and he hits the eject button on his car, and he launches the DB-10 into the river, and Batista just kind of sits there and goes, what the hell just happened? I'm watching the car sink and the driver's gone, and Bond's away. He's fine. He's safe. But he calls Moneypenny during the chase scene and asks him to look into a Franz Oberhauser before and after his recorded
That's
death.
the other thing about this chase. It's so intense that he just has a casual phone call during it.
Yeah. He does have a phone call during it. Because it's going on for a while.
Anyway, yeah. He talks to Moneypenny, they get some information on the White Pale Knight, and it's a returning favourite, Nathan. It's Mr. White from those previous movies.
From Breaking Bad. Yeah, it's the Pale King is Mr. White, and Bond kind of goes, of course, Quantum. Like that was ever something you were thinking of. The film never at any point sort of has Bond racking his brain about who the fuck the Pale King is. He just sort of assigns it to Moneypenny, assumes it will be resolved. And why, of course, Mr. White, like it could never have been anyone else. It could only have been Mr. White because pale and white is the same thing. And King because he was like the head overseer of the Quantum subsidiary. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, there's some scenes in here with M and C. None of these scenes matter. Like you say, they could have been added to reshoots. They're basically just in the movie to give M something to do for most of the movie.
Yeah. So there's like a 9 nations intelligence vote proposed to make all 9 intelligence organizations one super organization for the globe, but it must be unanimous.
Yeah.
And South Africa aren't on board.
Can you imagine any country voting for that?
Well, they're.
We'll just give over all our secret documents to all these other countries. That couldn't possibly end badly for any of us.
For shared intelligence, there are shared intelligence operations that exist. There is, things like Interpol, which is like a European shared police task force where they all exchange information. I'm pretty sure something like that does exist between the UK intelligence and like the CIA and various other operations around the world. But
there's a difference between like sharing intel and having like a good relationship and just like merging into one super agency, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. But it's definitely something that everyone seems to be in favour for, apart from the South Africans.
South
Though
Africa.
It should
Shout out to South Africa.
Shout out to South Africa. Yeah, they're doing something right apparently. But and M is on the UK team, but he also doesn't want it to happen. But C seems to have the vote on it, so he's like, of course the UK is going to be in favour. It's my idea. And but then we cut back to Bond and his task going to Austria to find Mr. White. And we find his house next to the banks of a river or a lake somewhere in the winter, and it's bitterly cold there. And Bond goes in. The house just looks abandoned. It's a real wreck. But we catch a little light leak through a little crack in a wall. And it goes to like a hidden basement where Mr. White is sitting, hooked up to all sorts of medication. It's not looking very good for Mr. White. He is clearly dying of something, even though someone was going to be sent to kill him for some reason because they wanted him dead sooner now that Sciarra was dead.
Well, they're thorough, I guess.
Yeah, they were like, we'll poison you in case we can't kill you, but then we'll send someone to kill you anyway.
Yeah. He's looking rough, Mr. White, he is.
And when he sees Bond, he's like, oh, I was flattered that London are still talking about me after all these years. It's like, it wasn't London, it was your lot.
I will say, I do genuinely like the scene between Mr. White and Bond. I think it's good.
Oh yeah, no, it is good. It is good. I mean, is that because for you it's reminiscent of the better era of the Craig era?
I mean, yes, because they're not trying to be silly about it, yeah.
I think it's very fun because they're literally having a conversation about secret shadow organisations over a fucking chessboard.
Well, yeah, but they don't, draw too much attention to the chessboard.
No,
that's
it's
just,
subtle.
a little detail
Kyle,
in
it's
the
subtle.
shot, you know?
It's subtle.
Yeah.
They even move the ring over the chessboard and it collects dust as it moves, you know? Mm-hmm. It's great. It's great. It's subtle. And yes, he looks at the ring and, he's like, he found thallium in his cell phone a month ago, but it's done its job. He'll be dead soon. And it's just like the organisation I joined it's taking a dark turn. It's going after women and children now. It's just too much.
Yeah. I thought this was kind of weird. Are we trying to redeem Mr. White? Really? Who cares?
I think they're trying to give you
Spectre is more evil than it used to be, I guess.
Yeah, I think they're trying to give you plausible reasoning as to why he's going to be the character to give up information to Bond, you know?
He can be a bad guy and still care about his daughter. That's not a stretch.
Well, I do think he's still a bad guy. He's just not in favour of killing women and children. He sort of is the organisation, the explicitly bad organisation I was a part of, is now killing women and children. So that's just his line, you know? And he says, I'm doing this to protect my daughter, and you can go find my daughter in a health clinic in the Swiss Alps or something, at a private health clinic. She can take you to something called L'Americaine. And then he says about Bond, you're a kite dancing in a hurricane, Mr. Bond. And he says so long, as he then shoots himself. F Mr. White. We love him. Really, it was nice to bring him back, because I really do feel like that Skyfall was such a departure from the duology of Casino and Quantum that it's just nice to bring him back, Nice to bring him back.
Yeah, I know. We're doing continuity in these movies. I understand.
You understand it. So we then cut back to London after this. We've got to just keep balancing it and see his intelligence organisation was built by private investors. The overhang of who his true masters are.
This is George Orwell's worst nightmare. Yeah. He's bugged Moneypenny, all this stuff.
Yeah, a license to kill is also a license not to kill. Kill?
That's a good line.
That's a good line. That's a really good line. Now, we get a quick shot of Mr. Hinks Batista arriving at Mr. White's abode to learn that he's dead. Okay, just to show that he's vaguely on Bond's tail.
He also sees the cameras.
Yes, he sees the cameras. So, Bond is in the Swiss Alps, in this private health clinic in the mountains, very on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
It's very Hitman. There's a level of Hitman that is exactly this.
This is a real place.
It's not in the Swiss Alps. The Hitman level's in Japan, but yes.
This is a real place because they do filming for other things here, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. I'm assuming it's like a ski lodge or something.
Possibly, yeah. It just looks incredibly future tech and private, doesn't it, though? It's somewhere that no one's just...
It looks very, I wouldn't say private, sure, but you don't get any privacy.
Yeah. Well, she closes the shutters on him, But a really, really nice place. So Bond tells...
So this is where we meet Dr. Madeline Swan, who is Mr. White's daughter, as played by Lea Seydoux.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Now, Bond tells her that your dad's dead. I was present when he died. They're going to come kill you. I'm going to protect you. I need you to take me to L'Americaine. She's like, no, get out. I don't want anything to do with this. I've spent a lot of time trying to get away from my dad. she's then kidnapped by Mr. Hinks when Bond is fucked off down to the bar that doesn't sell alcohol.
Well, yes, we know they don't serve alcohol because Nathan, he orders a vodka martini, shaken, not stirred.
Oh!
He said the thing from the movies.
He does, but does he not say this in other Daniel Craig Bond movies?
No, this is the first time he's said it.
Sure.
They kind of joke about it in Casino Royale, because they're like, would you like a vodka martini or something? He says, do I look like I give a damn if it's shaken or stirred?
Yeah, no, I thought he said it in Skyfall.
This is the first time where I don't think he says it in Skyfall. I feel like I would have noted it down if he said it in Skyfall.
At the bar in the Chinese casino when he's speaking to the lady that he's going to sleep with and get shot.
Does he? I thought he ordered something. I thought he ordered whatever she was having.
Maybe. This just didn't stand out to me as something remarkable at all, I'm afraid. I'm sorry. I'm a fake Bond fanatic. Yeah, you're perfectly entitled to your enjoyment of the fanfare. But Q has arrived here at the health clinic.
Yes.
To take Bond home. Everything's gone crazy back in London. Bond, you need to go home now. Or I'm going straight to M. And Bond's like, fine, but can you analyse what's on this ring, please? And then you're out, you're done. And he's like, fine, I will. And then he goes to leave, tells Bond what hotel room he's in. Bond then sees Dr. Swan getting kidnapped through the non-private class. And then he's now in pursuit. We're having a big, kind of boring, in my opinion, chase down the mountain.
Oh, extremely boring, because Bond hops in a plane to chase them, and I was thinking the whole time, what's your end game plan here, Bond, in this plane? How are you going to stop these cars from your plane? And he manages to do it through pure bullshit, is how he manages it.
The plane down the slopes.
He skis it down the slopes, he throws it through a barn, and just rolls a bunch of natural 20s for any of this to work at all. Yeah, it's yeah.
If Sean Connery had done it, you'd have loved it.
Sean Connery wouldn't have done it. Sean Connery would have had a plan, okay? Sean Connery would have had his little helicopter with guns in it.
That he keeps in his shoe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, we end up going to... Bond wins. Bond saves her. Bond saves Dr. Swan. We should reveal that Mr. Hinks...
Yeah, he manages to knock out everyone in the car except for her. By pure luck.
We should also reveal that Mr. Hinks has a double-barreled pistol, which is very cool.
Yeah. I guess that's a better gimmick than metal thumbs, so I'll give it to him.
He's wearing big gloves, so you never see his metal thumbs. And yeah, so... Madeline Swan is not at all impressed with any of this. She's furious about all of this. And Bond is like, you need to help me out here, and she eventually agrees.
Oh, there's also a scene where they're chasing Q, but that doesn't actually go anywhere.
Yeah, that's why I haven't mentioned it. It's completely pointless.
Q just escapes them easily. Yeah, it's a totally pointless sequence.
Q gives one of the henchmen the slip as a bunch of ski people get onto the elevator, the ski lift. So we get back to Q's hotel room, and Q says, 007, I must apologise, you're right, these things all are connected. Who's this lady? She knows everything, it's fine. And he's like, Bond, I think we should really speak in private. And he's like, it's fine, she knows. And Q then reveals to Bond that these are all connected. Silva, Sciarra, Mr. White, Patrice, Green, and Le
Chiffre, yeah.
All worked for Franz Oberhauser, who is the man...
How does he know that?
Did they all wear this ring at some point? Is it all a shared
Yeah,
ring?
I guess they all pass it around, yeah.
That must just be it. Don't know why Patrice wasn't wearing it when Bond killed him in Skyfall, but okay.
Also, I know why they do it, because it would be weird if they didn't, but Silva clearly didn't work for these people, in Skyfall. Silva was on his own.
I believe, actually, that Silva could have worked for these people without much difficulty. Green is actually the one that I have trouble with, and Le Chiffre to a certain extent.
Because you feel like Quantum is a different thing?
No, I completely accept that Quantum is a subsidiary, but he just feels too stupid to know anything about Spectre. It's almost like they own his company, and he thinks he's working independently.
Uh-huh.
He has other business interests, but I can't believe at any point Green ever fucking sat at a table with Blofeld. I just don't believe it. And
sure.
Le Chiffre also, because Casino Royale is just stupidly grounded in a good way. I mean, it's difficult to imagine him being a weird tactician, math genius, investment banker that's actually working for... Because the point of Casino Royale is he lost all that money gambling on the markets and now he's worried and has to get all the money back. But if he was working for some greater good, he wouldn't have been gambling, you know? And then he's worried not about Spectre killing him because he lost the money, he's worried about the rebels that he, or the terrorists that he took money from.
I don't think this version of Spectre is any kind of for the greater good kind of organization. They're just evil. They just do evil stuff.
No, they talk about, like, that's why C is there. He's a visionary. He's a true believer in the mass surveillance state that they wanted to do. Like, I think that the Spectre of old is mustache twirling villains because it's a fucking anagram. This Spectre isn't even an anagram. It's just called Spectre.
But what about, like, the human trafficking they were doing that Mr. Wright was so upset about?
I thought they were just killing women and children. So were they trafficking women as well?
I'm sure that also comes up in the meeting that they've converted like 15,000 refugee women to their organization or something like that.
Maybe I might have just missed that line in my notes taking. But anyway, all this is to say, I think that Silva probably would have worked for them because he has that island and he's like manipulating elections. He tries to sell Bond on it by being like, you can do what you choose all at the flick of a button and all that. But I think there's probably more going on there. I actually think that Silva is the perfect candidate to have been working for Spectre in some way.
But his motivations in that movie are way too personal.
Oh, no, his motivations against Judi Dench, but his wider sort of operation that he's got going, that's not all just existence purely to get M. I think that might be a bit of indulgence in that film that he's doing, but his entire operation perfectly would slot into Spectre completely fine, in my opinion.
Sure, I guess. Fine.
And then Patrice is just a hitman, a bit like Sciarra, you know?
Anyway, so, even though Madeline Swan hated Bond and wanted nothing to do with him, he's like, I'm your only chance at staying alive, so now she's just part of the team. So she takes him to L'American, which is not a person, it's a coffee, it's a hotel.
It's a hotel in Tangier. And
yes.
Bond and her go up to the old hotel room that her dad and her mum used to, that's where they went on their wedding night, and they would come back every year since they get married, and then they would bring her when she was little, and after they get divorced, the dad would still come here, and he never quite knew why. Bond ends up knocking through the wall, and he finds a secret Spectre assassin planner room, which, did Mr. White have to do this every time he visited? It must looks like he had to, then replastered the wall every time.
It does, yeah.
And it was very convenient of Bond when
secret door,
when Bond knocked through the wall, he knocked it right through in the doorframe, as opposed to like just into the drywall itself.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I guess you saw that mouse hole.
I didn't quite understand this either.
Either way, he finds this little room where it's got all of Mr. White's tracking stuff, and apparently near the end of his time there, he was using it to sort of track down Blofeld because he wanted to try and kill Blofeld. Then in this hunt, Bond sees an interrogation tape for Vesper Lynd, and he looks at it and kind of meditates on it for a second, and he puts it down. He isn't going to read it. It's part of his past is what I'm going to hammer home to you here, right? Uh-huh. It's not something he...
And also they couldn't afford Ava Green for a little cameo.
Yes, but actually also I think that we'd be then indulging in the thing that he moved on from. I'm quite a...
Well then why even put it in at all?
To show that this is all related, Kyle. This is the last Daniel Craig Bond movie, Kyle. It's all the legacy.
I guess.
You're getting a wink and a nod, you know? We're bringing everyone back that's still alive, or anyone that they can think to fit in.
Well, anyway, this is also the point where Madeline and Bond are supposed to be falling in love, and Nathan, I just do not feel it at all. There's, like... Based on where this movie ends, there needs to be chemistry here, but Madeline is no Vesper Lynd. I just do not feel the chemistry in this movie. I don't think they're falling in love here.
She's kind of drunk here, isn't she? She's like drinking red wine before she goes to bed, and then she wakes up in like her little nightie because she gets changed off camera while Bond's just sitting there.
Yeah, I mean, just this whole sequence with the two of them together, you know?
This is them working together because she whispers in French when she's lying in bed because my subtitles are on, and that translates the French that wouldn't have been translated without them. She whispers in French to herself, "What am I doing here?" So she...
No, that's there without subtitles.
Oh, is it there without subtitles as well? So she doesn't have a clue, really, why she's here.
Well, yeah, she is drunk in that sequence.
Yes, but she then says later on, because Bond is like, "I'm now going to be going to this place because we can see it on the satellite imagery. There's something out there in the middle of the desert." And he doesn't want her to go. She's like, "Even if you're not coming back, I want to understand what my father had been doing, what happened to him." So I understand why she's coming along, you know? I actually don't... I understand why she's there, you know? I get it.
I guess.
I don't hate Madeline Swan. I do have thoughts on Madeline Swan, but
I don't
we have one
hate the
more movie to
character.
go.
I just do not feel the chemistry between them.
At this point, I don't think they do have much chemistry. She still kind of dislikes him.
I don't think they ever have chemistry.
Like I say, I have thoughts on the character, but we have another movie to go, and oh boy, we'll talk about it. A lot of what I'm thinking right now is because I think that they do have chemistry. I just don't think they have like Vesper Lind chemistry.
She whispers "I love you" into his ear at one point in this movie.
That's when he's being tortured, and
But that's crazy because they've only known each other for like 16 hours.
nah, they've been overnight to the train and all that. They've known each other for a couple of days. They've
Okay,
gotta get
26 hours.
there. Nah, because they had to get to Tangier from where they were in Sweden and Switzerland and all that as well. I think they've known each other for like 4 days, right?
Okay, no matter what you had said there, it would still be too early for "I love you." Okay.
I don't know if she meant it, right? She's just trying to keep him
Fine.
focused.
Well, they're on a train, and they both packed fancy dinner clothes for this train trip.
I have a fun trivia fact about their fancy clothes, Kyle.
Oh, please.
This is the first time that James Bond has been seen in a white tuxedo since A View to a Kill.
Did Pierce Brosnan never wear the white tux?
Never wore the white tuxedo once.
That's a shame for him.
That is a shame for him, right? I agree.
I guess that also means Dalton never did, but yes, he only got 2
Yeah,
movies.
he only got 2 movies. Yeah, this is the first time since View to a Kill since Bond the White Tux. And I think that they both look great here, Kyle, and I won't apologise for my brash opinion that hot people look hot, you know?
See, this is where I've just got in my notes, God, this movie is long. So,
Crazy. Oh, by the way,
This
we
movie's
should
so
note that the
long.
Nine Eyes intelligence motion passed because Spectre set off a bomb in Cape Town. Sorry.
yeah, sure, again, none of this matters.
It no matters. It comes into the end of the film. It's the whole London plot point because they think that Blofeld's dead. They're trying.
I guess, but that, like, why even have the scene where it's rejected at first then? You know, it's just filling time.
Yeah, pacing. Yeah, padding. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I say this movie's long. There's so much padding in this movie.
So they're on this train and they get ready for dinner, but Bond wants to show Madeline how to use guns. And she hates guns. She said she hates guns, but Bond's like, no, please do this and that and that and that. And then she kind of picks up the gun and sort of does it all herself, plus more, without really any coaxing. And she's like, I told you I hate guns. And Bond's like, I don't need to teach you anything, do I? And then Madeline, gives this story to Bond about how when she was a child, a man came to her house to kill her father. And she had to use a gun because the man didn't know that Daddy kept a Beretta 9mm under the sink next to the bleach. And that's why she hates guns, because of what it made her do in her childhood. We're getting some character stuff here, Ken, right?
Yeah, again, I don't hate this character. I just don't feel it. I just don't feel the romance.
I kind of feel it as the film goes on. Like you say, the film's long, even though we're like, I think it's like she gets introduced over halfway through. They kind of do it. The film's long, you know. So I think we spend an appropriate amount of time with her actually, and.
But like the scenes on the train are like when this romance is supposed to happen, because after this is like the facility stuff where like she's in love with him now. So like
this is
it. This is the romance scene.
This is definitely where it sparks. I think that all this is the chemistry stuff. I don't think it exists prior to the train. The train's where it sparks.
It's a reference to Casino Royale because that's also Vesper Lind train.
Yeah, there you go.
It does not compare favorably.
There you go. I think they look a lot better than they did in that, because they're all dressed in like mid-2000s British civil servants outfits.
No, they're dressed up fancy for that one, aren't they?
She's got like a coat on, she takes it off, and she's wearing like a pretty nice dress. I tell you what, her face was a lot nicer than the fashion, you know? Bond's always wearing a suit, you know? But in this, they're all done up to the nines, you know? They're making a statement, they're arriving to dinner, like, that's the point, you know? Like, whereas on the train for Casino Royale, it's the first time they're ever meeting, you know? They don't have any expectation to impress or anything like that, you know?
Sure.
And this,
anyway, Dave Bautista shows up and they have a fight with Dave Bautista.
Yeah, they have a fight with Dave Bautista, yeah. Now, Dave Bautista kicks this table so fucking hard, and it hits, whether it's Lea Seydoux or whether it's a stunt double, hits her in the face so fucking hard, Kyle. See when there's like the shot of Lea Seydoux on the ground after she's been hit and she sort of gets back up with a face full of makeup looking completely unharmed and completely conscious?
She gets knocked unconscious in this fight 3 separate times. I think that's why she sleeps with Bond afterwards, because she just has brain damage.
But like, no, it's jarring, isn't it? Like, she gets hit by in the face so fucking hard and she's just fine, because Batista does not hit that table lightly. That entire table goes flying up in her direction. I think that would kill somebody of a different disposition.
She gets up from that and then he punches her in the face and she gets knocked down again. So,
and Bond's really struggling to deal with Mr. Hinks. My first note when I saw him was, "Oh, when did you board the train? Have you been there since they all got on the train and you've just been like enjoying?"
That's a great question.
Have you, Mr. Hinks, have you just been enjoying a little bit of a holiday on board this train yourself? Like you had dinner earlier.
He had to finish his own dinner first. Yeah,
he's been sitting there watching them come in, and he's like just finishing the dessert, and he's like, "Oh, I'll get them in a minute." Finishing his tiramisu, you know.
Yeah, that's actually, how does Spectre know they're on this train? I guess it's because magic spy stuff. They're tracking them all the time.
Because C is tracking them.
Oh, that's true. They don't delete the smart blood shit till later.
Yeah, exactly. So
fine.
Yep. Yeah, it's right. The pacing problems, Kyle, in the film's a bit bloated, but like I think it fairly cohesively works together, right? We end up in like the cargo car of the train, where like the dinners are like stored and stuff, and the luggage is stored. And Bond.
Yeah, there's no one else on this train, by the way.
There was.
Like they go through the kitchen and there's no one there.
There, you see like the waiting staff and the people that press the suits and all that. I think there was other people in the dining car when Bond and Madeline first enter. They all just clear out for the fight. Yeah, but like
during this fight scene, they all just disappear. Yeah.
They'll clear out for the fight. So, Bond's about to get kicked off this train by Mr. Hinks, and then just as he's about to get taken off, Madeline's up with a gun and she shoots Batista in the arm, and he retreats. A guy of that size, he don't care about being shot in the arm.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fight progresses, and I think it's quite a suspenseful fight actually, because it's just wrecking. I think Batista's a brilliant Bond henchman as it goes. He's just so big.
He's trying his best. He's channeling his best Jaws. He's always doing this with a smile on his face, which I think is a fun detail.
Yeah, he's loving it.
Like, Dave Bautista is a wonderful man. I don't have any bad words to say about him other than his silly metal thumbs, but I don't think that was his idea, unless it was.
I don't know. I know that he was grateful to be cast in this movie because he was worried about just being like Drax, like that being the thing. And he loved like being in a Bond movie. So, I guess Batista, the wrestler, his career was otherwise. He wanted to be an actor, Now, just as Bond's about to get kicked out and then Batista gets shot, the fight kind of reverse positions where now Batista's at risk of falling out the train. He gets a rope tied around him that's connected to a bunch of barrel kegs that are all getting ripped out the train one at a time because of their own weight and they're all tied together. Mm-hmm. And then Batista notices this all too late and says his iconic one line of the film, "Shit," in a weird accent.
Yeah, he's doing like a weird accent. I don't know where he's supposed to be from, but it's fine.
Yeah. And R.I.P. F. Mr. Hicks. Bond and Swan then decide that this near-death experience is good enough that they're going to just sleep together now, and the writing on the wall motif is just blasting,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's, they're enjoying each other's company in the train car. And then they just get off the train. Oh,
it's also... I should have mentioned, when they're at dinner, she has a whole thing with Bond where she's like, well, what would you do if you weren't a spy? And all this. And he's like, oh, I don't know. So that's set up for the end of the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they're very attracted to each other because when Madeline approaches Bond in the dining car, she says it's rude to stare looking up at him, and then Bond retorts with like, "And you shouldn't look like that" or something. Like
that's not like Bond is attracted to every woman in existence. That's not like the one true romance I'll leave the spy agency for. I don't know
if he's attracted to every woman that he sees. He just sleeps with every woman that he sees, Like when he slept with Monica Bellucci, I don't think it was love. I think it was not love, but like a genuine attraction. I think it was like, I just want to get information out of you as quick as possible, and this is an efficient way to do it.
Well, he'd already gotten the information at that point.
They were getting more, Kyle. Because she was like, "Are you crazy?" And he was like, "Yeah," or whatever,
I'm not going to suggest that he wasn't attracted to Monica Bellucci because she's a very attractive woman. I don't think that's the implication there.
Yeah, but he wasn't like, I don't know. emotionally attracted to her. I think he likes.
Well, see that this stuff with Madeline feels exactly the same to me. I don't feel
I
any
feel
deeper
it
meaning to it than
entirely
that.
different. I think that this film kind of, I think Blofeld kind of mentions it in that the only person that could really understand Bond is the daughter of another assassin, and I think that Bond maybe feels somewhat seen by her because this is a woman that he could have something with that's that understands the life, shall we say. I know we had Vesper, but Vesper's dead, right? Like, he doesn't know if you're going to find another Vesper Lind. This is a new romance. This is
like I totally like that's clearly what the movie's going for. I just don't feel it.
okay.
I just don't.
Okay, I happen to feel it. I don't feel it the way that I would feel it for Vesper Lind, but she's dead, right? I really want to hammer home to you that she's dead.
No, yeah, I know. Yes.
You know that, right? We'll see if this franchise knows that she's dead. But
Is that foreshadowing?
no,
Nathan?
it's not foreshadowing at all. It's not foreshadowing at all. I think this film, to a certain degree, also falls back in on Vesper Lind with the later on bit where Blofeld's like, "Oh, the woman, I'm the author of all your pain. You interfere in my world, I destroy yours." You know.
The author of all your pain.
Yeah, great.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. I love these existential lines that mean fucking nothing. Not that it mean nothing. This is
Butterflies, Nathan.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that it means nothing. It is to highlight that I've always been there in the background. Everything's always been me. I understand it. It's just said in flirty language. But yeah. So we get off the train at like an abandoned station in the middle of the desert, and I could imagine speaking to the conductor about getting off here, and they're like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, just here." He's like, "What, are you insane?" No, just let me off here. I'm like, "Okay." That's an embarrassing moment. You know, you have no shame to ask that. They're kicking around at this old.
Bond has no
They're
shame.
kicking around at this ruin for a while, Kyle, aren't they? And then they see in the distance a 1948 Rolls Royce Silver Wraith coming to pick them up because Bond knows his cars.
Yes, which Bond Bond. You mentioned yesterday as like London subway autism. I think he also has car autism. So
Yeah, he has. He can notice any vintage car at 50 paces. You know.
yeah.
So Oberhauser has decorated their rooms appropriately when they arrive at the facility with their photos of their childhood. And then we get taken to dinner. Or we get taken to a meteor that's crash landed.
Yeah, no, we don't get taken to dinner. Yeah.
We're meant to be some evening attire situation, though.
Because we didn't mention this whole facility's in like a big crater. And like, I think Q even says this at some point. He's like, but now we don't think there's anything out there. But if you see on the satellite, there's very obviously a giant facility there. And it's like, and no one has noticed it until now.
I think what they mean is like the place isn't emanating any like radio signals or light pollution. Like you really need to visually inspect it on like a map to like know there's something there.
I guess so. Okay.
Like it's unless you're
Like
looking
a
at
plane
it,
tracking app would have seen it by accident at this point. But
like unless you're looking at it with like literally the naked eye, like computer algorithms are just completely overpassing it. So Bond gets taken out of this room just filled.
But like
with
they'd have
people.
to have built it though, right?
Well,
like,
this
how
is
did they
this
build
is
it?
this is the question I have about all the fucking people working here. As I was about to mention, Kel, there's a big army of tech bros sitting around here that are all just sitting typing away doing espionage stuff. I assume they're all Twitter bots. They're the monkeys from the Superman movie. And then there's like a hospitality team as well that are like, nice to see you, Mr. Bond. Here's a tray. Would you like a drink? All of these people. How do you apply? Would you say to your parents?
Did they just go?
When you're like, I've got a job, yeah.
Did they just go home at the end of the day to their wife and kids? Plotting another shift to the evil secret lair.
I imagine it's similar to like being in the army or like working in an oil rig where you go away for weeks at a time.
I think one of these buildings is a barracks somewhere.
Yeah, and it probably goes underground as well, But it's just that is strange to look at. Where like, how the hell will these people get the job? Like, say your mum, I got a job working in hospitality. Where is it? Oh, private clinic somewhere.
I guess like that's always a question of the Bond henchmen,
in
right?
the campier movies, though, you just kind of go, oh, whatever. But this is like the more realistic. I guess that I've made the whole argument of this film being about how it's got one foot in two worlds. So maybe that's the answer, but it is just weird.
You know what? Like, this is one that didn't bother me because it's just henchmen. There's always henchmen. It's fine.
Yeah, it's just to address your point of how did they build it. You build it. They build
Yeah.
it, you know?
But yeah, so what was it? What's his fake name? Sorry,
Franz
Ovenstead something.
Oberhauser.
Oberhausen. He introduces himself. He explains to Madeline that, and this is the best part of the whole movie, Nathan, is that he is the adopted brother of James Bond.
No, he's not. That's silly. Why are you lying? Why are you lying?
I know, but it sounds. I know, right? Because that's the twist from Austin Powers, and surely they wouldn't do that in like a genuine like James Bond movie. To have Blofeld be the brother of James Bond, because that would be like a silly thing you do in a comedy movie.
Yeah. Oh, this is the thing that everyone talks about from this movie, Kel. Like I said, I think generally people are more positive on this movie than you are. But the thing that everyone has issue with, I don't think there's anyone that's fine with it, is this. It's you are your stepbrothers. Now, I must say, actually, historically, I didn't hate it. It wasn't until kind of in the last couple of years that I've started to hate it more. I think that might come, though, from having a more broader perspective of, like, the franchise, where, like, this was never a thing. They've just pulled us out their ass for this film.
Uh-huh. And it adds nothing to the film, is the thing. Like, they can have a rivalry without literally being brothers, you know? It doesn't, like...
Yeah.
It doesn't add to the drama at all, because he's still new to us, the audience.
Yeah.
We didn't know Bond had a secret brother.
Yeah, this film really wants to fucking bookend the whole... Not only this era of Daniel Craig's Bond, but, like, this Bond's entire life. Except they're not killing him, you know? And... Though I think this film really heavily hints that they might kill him in this film. And
I wouldn't say that.
I think this film really kind of Bond's like, you know, might not be coming back and all that, you know. And that's
Yeah, but he always says that
I
shit.
don't think he does always say that shit. It's always just sort of outwardly implied. You're going to the third act, you're going to the belly of the beast, of course you might die. But to outwardly say it to a supporting character sort of raises the stakes in a certain way. And given that, again, Daniel Craig's last Bond movie, there's just a lot of other things going into it.
I mean, okay, in fairness, I know there's another movie after this, but at no point did I feel like they were giving Bond death flags.
Okay, well, I should tell you that everyone kind of thought maybe Daniel Craig was done after Skyfall. Probably people did know he had another one in the tank, but Skyfall definitely had like a you're done vibe, like you're going out on a high. And then...
Yeah, but they've never killed Bond before, so that's like a...
Yes, true.
That's like a thing that you don't just expect.
Well, as we're about to learn, Kyle, that actually doesn't become a thing.
I know, yes.
So, Madeline then watches her own father being killed via security footage, and Bond and his brother...
I'm the architect of all your pain, yeah. Uh-huh.
Bond and his brother, good old Oppenheimer.
Can I say, I also hate that aspect of the twist. Just in general, whenever media does this, it's like, actually, the new villain from this movie, was responsible for all the things from all the previous movies. You just didn't see me. I was just off camera left. I find that so, like... It's like a cheap trick to make you care about this new villain, which is, like, unnecessary. Just make this new villain do new things. He doesn't have to be responsible for all the old things.
I don't mind it if it's done well, because I'm a big sucker for continuity and everything being interconnected. We were talking about ecosystems before we recorded today, and how I like everything to connect. It is generally a trait that I am favourable to in things. Now, it can be done bad. As we mentioned, that Windows' ecosystem was awful. But if done well, I am very much someone who is inclined to use it and utilise it. And this is not done great. As I said, this is an aspect of this film that no one likes. But I don't hate the reveal that I've always been in the background pulling the strings. You know, I don't mind it. That's not something I necessarily have disdain to. But, you know, to each their own. I actually think I'm in the minority, to be quite honest with you. I think more people would agree with you. But I know what I think, and I'm just, as a trait, I don't mind. But Bond is now going to be taken to his weird clinical torture room of needles into the brain to sort of...
Nathan, I miss the days of a rope to the groin, I really do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure lots of people miss that. Rope to the groin has a rope to the groin, but this has...
Because, like...
A weird animus
it's
bed.
A specific... Yeah. Yeah, it's an animus bed that, like, drills into your brain and makes you forget things, specific things, because he says to Bond, I'm going to make you forget the face of this woman who you care about. And it's like, I mean, I guess that's technically torture, but like once he's forgotten, that torture wouldn't mean anything to him, so it seems kind of redundant.
He mentions to Madeline that him and Bond were recently at a meeting where a man had his eyes crushed through his skull, and there was this brief moment between life and death where the person that was once inhabiting that body is gone, but they're still technically alive. Now, I've never had, like, I don't know about you, Kyle, I don't know what's happened to you in the past while, but I've never had my eyes crushed through my eye sockets, right? Never happened to me.
No, me neither.
I can imagine, though, the sensation of having things literally penetrating through your brain, through a kind of natural orifice in your head, whilst the rest of your body's still kind of anatomically fine, would be quite unpleasant. Yeah, like your synapses, everything kind of, you're still working, but there's not, you are gone. You know, I understand the conundrum that Oberhauser here is trying to get Madeline to understand, and he's messing with all his senses. He's going to put a needle into his head that's going to make him play with his eyesight and his hearing and his smell. It's all the senses and his memory cortex if he hits a precise part of something to do with the spinal cord that he hasn't yet hit. But Bond is able to wriggle off his watch.
Well, Nathan. He first points out that Obenhauser is dead. He died on that mountain with his father.
Oh, yeah.
His name is Ernst Stavro Blofeld.
Yeah. Anakin's gone. Yeah, Anakin's gone. You didn't kill Anakin, everyone.
I love the cutback to Bond after that sequence, because Bond just doesn't give a shit. It's like, okay, I'll call you Blofeld then. Like, it means nothing to me. Yeah. It's just a name.
You should note that Blofeld killed his own father because he was jealous of all the attention that Bond was getting, and then that's where...
Yeah, and I suppose we should also take this point to talk about Christoph Waltz and his performance in this movie, because I think it's nothing. It's like Christoph Waltz, you play a good villain, just do it. Like, and then they give him no further instruction.
This is a very clean, clinical villain that's sort of just going paint by numbers. Now, that's why earlier on when you said this is just him from Inglourious Basterds, I couldn't disagree with you more.
And this scene specifically, he's doing little bits and stuff, and he's clearly trying to tap into that, like the Inglourious Basterds stuff. But it's not like, it's just so half-hearted.
Well, exactly, right? I can't see the Inglourious Basterds Nazi in this scene, you know? Because that's a character that I don't think ever had a dull scene. Every frame of footage involving that character was just gripping and crazy.
No, I agree. Christoph Waltz is amazing, and Christoph Waltz could play an amazing Bond villain. Here, he is not playing an amazing Bond villain. He's just doing vaguely villainous stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I would agree with you there, which is why I disagree with you with the Inglourious Basterds point. I just think this is much worse.
What I'm more meant by that is he was cast in this movie because he's played a very famous villain. And so they just assumed that if you cast Christoph Waltz, then he'll be a great villain.
Oh, do you think
and they didn't actually write a very compelling character.
Yeah, do you think this is just stunt casting then?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Okay, I understand why they think he could be a good Blofeld. I actually do. I enjoy the casting very much. I just wish that the writing was stronger for the project. And I bet he probably signed on because of the reception of Skyfall and was like, oh, I'll do that. You know? And then he saw the film and he was like, wait, you killed off Judi... I'm not working with Judi Dench? Oh, I got Ralph Fiennes. Okay, that's fine.
I would have loved Christoph Waltz facing off with Judi Dench.
Right? They even have similar outfits.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been great.
Because I was going to mention this too, as to why I think Silva was a much more compelling villain, specifically because he had such an intense rivalry with M. Yeah. And it gave, he also had kind of a brotherly relationship with Bond in that way, but it was much more subtle and much more interesting because it's like, oh, we're both like the adopted sons of this strange woman,
two sides
right?
of the
And we
same
have this
coin.
weird relationship. Yeah. That was a much more compelling dynamic than just, I am your secret brother, James Bond.
That was like a metaphorical brotherhood. This is a literal, I am your brother.
Yeah.
But I'm also the head of the I'm not like an agent within the organisation. I am the head of the organisation.
But also, he was Bond's brother for 4 years, 3 years. He wasn't his brother for that long,
dead for
right?
20 years. But
Yeah,
I don't know for how long Bond was in the custodianship, the stewardship of Oberhauser's father, you know?
I assume his parents died when he said he was old enough to remember them, so he was probably like 10, 11.
Yeah, something like that. Definitely for a few years, shall we say, maybe through their teenage years.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, so Blofeld is then blown up in the face because the watch explodes, and Blofeld's little white cat runs away, and Blofeld's almost like it kills the power to the room because it releases the lock on Bond's weird contraption.
Very convenient, yes.
So he picks up Madeline because they run for it.
I think it's funny that this movie feels the need to give Bond like his Blofeld scar, because only one version of Blofeld actually has that. Yeah. And like all the other Blofelds in the subsequent movies are just like a dude.
To be fair, Donald Pleasance's Blofeld is the quintessential version.
I know, I get that. I understand why they did it. I just think it's funny that it's not actually like, if you look at the totality of Blofeld, that's only actually one version of Blofeld.
Yeah, but you know when you comes into like Thing You Know, this is a thing that people that haven't seen the old Bond movies, you're vaguely familiar with. Man, I know this isn't even bald, I suppose. Maybe they could have done that if they really wanted to lean into it.
Yeah.
But the scar and the white cat and all that, that's even the thing that Dr. Evil used. You know, they took the scar even though it was only one version.
Yeah.
So I understand the desire to bring the scar across.
It's arguably more famous for Dr. Evil than it is for Blofeld, to be honest.
I guess Dr. Evil has more screen time with the scar than Blofeld ever did.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But I enjoy Bond in this sequence moving tactically. Like they come out with he comes out and he knocks out the guard. He picks up the rifle and he looks great.
Even though he's just had drills in his brain, but he's fine.
Yeah, but he's got the button down shirt on. He's got the dinner pants, the dinner trousers, and the shirt. And he's moving with the rifle, and he's just sort of, like spraying. He is spraying a bit when he takes cover, but at first he's just like popping them off one bullet at a time. And he brings out the extender brace to go under his arm so he can shoot the ones coming down the stairs. And then he shoots the gas tank to make a big explosion. You love shooting explosive things, this Bond. This is like the hotel.
It's a real design flaw, that explosive type, let me tell you.
This is like the hotel in Quantum of Solace, you know? The unstable fuel cells.
Yeah, it really is, yeah.
So
maybe he got the technology from Dominic Grade. It's like, actually, I think that was pretty efficient stuff, those unstable fuel cells.
Yeah. It really helped power isolated infrastructure in the middle of the desert. So we climb to
we just have to hope that no one uses any of these guns we always carry around.
Yeah. We climb to a helicopter pad at the top of like the crater, and this massive explosion goes off. Like he'd done more damage than they think he did. And this was all filmed for real. At the time of filming, this was the largest explosion ever dedicated to camera, ever made for film, you know?
It's pretty big.
Now, watching it, I don't actually think you ever go, wow. But then when you know it's real, you go, I bet that was very fun to be in the presence of, actually, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's obviously a very big explosion, but just, like, it's framed in a very flat way when you see it. It's like, oh yeah, it's a big explosion, I guess. It doesn't, like, wow you.
I suppose because you can only do it once, and you don't want a shot of, like, Daniel Craig and Lea Seydoux, like, losing their shit. Like, you've got to have, like, a back shot of them just being very stoic so that you can't see their faces when they're going, oh my fucking God. You know? But this is something Christopher Nolan would do.
You could have got coverage, you know?
Yeah, you could have got coverage. You could have a helicopter or something up, yeah. But this is something that Christopher Nolan would have done for real, you know?
Yeah.
No CGI.
So Sam Mendes does it because Christopher Nolan is his
senpai, yeah.
Senpai, yes.
Exactly, yeah.
But yeah, so even though this feels like the end of the movie, this isn't actually the end of the movie. We still have another, 20 minutes left.
We won't be recording for another 20 minutes, so ladies and gentlemen, I can assure you we'll be cutting through this. But we end up right back in London, and M is taking Tanner, Q and Moneypenny to an old MI6 safe house, and waiting for them there is Bond and Madeline. At this point, the film wants you to think that Blofeld is dead. I never really assumed he was dead, even the first time I saw this film. I was just like, oh, he's not dead.
Of course not, yeah.
But the film really...
I don't know how he survived that explosion, but there's no way he was dead, because, imagine.
I have thought on subsequent viewings, I didn't think it my first viewing, but I've thought on subsequent viewings, could this have been a manual detonation that Blofeld triggered to shield his own escape from the facility? So he wants you to believe that he's dead.
I guess so, because he sets up the elaborate saw trap room for Bond later, so... I assume that took some time to set up.
Yeah, right. So, their task, the London task force, if you like, is to get into the Intelligence HQ building and stop the Nine Eyes network from going live at midnight. You've got half an hour. Q needs to hack into it, and everyone else has got to hold down C, I suppose.
Yeah. This is the part of the movie where I was like, damn, I kind of wish this was the whole movie. Just this team has to assemble for a mission.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
I think that would be
in
fun.
my notes here, I'm like, surely, like, what are the other double O's doing right now? This is like a double O's assembly moment, you know? Like,
That is a good point. I didn't think about
like,
that.
this is the end of the double O program. It's being mothballed because C spoke to the Home Secretary about how M can't control the agents in this new intelligence era.
I guess they're all just like, well, fuck, I guess I'm out of a job. Gotta start working on a resume.
They must be like non-ambitious company men. They must just be like, fine.
Yeah.
And then, like, when M said, hey, do you want to come to the safe house and we'll keep our jobs, they were like, oh, I got like a pension I don't want to risk, you know? Like, I can just do another thing. Like, this isn't my life. Like, I have a life outside of the job. And
then Bill Tanner raises his hand and is like, oh, I guess Bill Tanner, you can go along, sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I have a question. What does Bill Tanner do? He's just like an office guy, I guess.
He was M's like field lackey, but then they introduced Moneypenny that completely undercut Tanner, because she goes out into the field. But now he's just like the other aide that kind of leaves the office sometimes because Moneypenny doesn't leave the office anymore. He's now the chauffeur.
He's the driver.
Though ironically, when M and Bond get the car crashed, M was driving. But I think Tanner was driving Moneypenny and Q around in the Land Rover.
Q, yeah.
So, Madeline says she can't be part of this. She's done. Like, Blofeld's dead. I've got my answers. I wish you the best, but I don't want this life. Like, bye. And she leaves them in the middle of the street, sort of mid-swing to get to the cars to go for the mission. And then she's just somehow kidnapped off camera and ends up at the MI6 demolition site.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it, yeah.
She's kidnapped.
But Bond is now kidnapped, and they were going to kidnap M, but couldn't do it because he's a ghost, and he just teleported away, and he's able to link up with Moneypenny and Q and Tanner later. But Bond, as he gets taken with a bag over his head to the MI6 demolition building, he then kills the henchman that brought him there and takes the bag off his head and goes into the building. But then the building is laid out like it was meant to be something he was going to walk through unsupervised to discover things.
Yeah, I think he was given like weak bonds on purpose because they knew he would do that.
Kill the henchman that put him in them.
Yeah, Blofeld doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, but the henchman might. They'd be like, they're pretty shitty.
Well, the henchmen weren't like privy to that part of the plan, I'm sure.
Okay,
but yes.
Okay. You're now who's being forgiving of the film, you know?
That's just typical movie villain bullshit. Like, that's just the sort of thing you
I don't know.
with.
If he were to have to sneak through the building unseen by the goons, I'd believe it. But the whole thing's clearly set up for him to do like a solo walk, and he literally broke out as they were bringing him through the front door. You know, it wasn't like he broke out halfway.
Maybe they were just going to shove him in the door and then lock the door behind him. I don't know.
Maybe. So yeah, he gets taken through, and there's like arrows, and in like different rooms, there's like pictures of previous dead people, all leading up to this.
Meanwhile, M is confronting C. It's fun. It's a callback to Casino Royale. It's good.
Is this a callback to Casino Royale?
Yeah, the opening of Casino Royale where he
has
the
sorry.
gun.
I thought you meant like the chopping and changing between Bond and M's perspectives. I was like, what the fuck has this got to...
No. Just the sequence with M and C is a callback to Casino Royale.
Is a callback to the start with Dryden or something? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what C stands for. Very good.
When I saw that in the Science Centre IMAX screen in Glasgow, and that, let me tell you, that line got a big chuckle out of people. People were still laughing before M then said the word careless, you know, because everyone knew it was cunt. Sorry, YouTube.
Yeah.
But M also removes all the bullets from MC's desk gun, which is the direct harken back to 007's actions in Casino Royale's Cold Open.
Yeah.
But Bond then sees Blofeld standing at the end of a corridor, just like side on, like nonchalantly, and starts shooting at him. And he shoots the exact Spectre logo into the crack of the glass, which is very nice.
I didn't notice that. That's that's a thing for sure.
Little bit of symbolism there, you know. And yeah, so Blofeld.
What's the name of the movie?
Yeah,
Spectre.
Wojak, oh. So, Blofeld then does like a 90-degree turn to reveal the right side of his face is all scarred because, you know, he's got to have the scar. And he's like, you know, I don't know.
I have no idea how much time has passed, by the way. Like, has it been hours? Has it been days?
So
I have
remember
no
when
idea.
Tanner shows the building to Bond at the start of the movie, he's like, it's scheduled to be demolished in a week. So
okay, so a week has passed since that point.
a week has passed since that point,
guess.
but I think probably a day or two has passed because they've got to fly back on the helicopter pad from Tangier's desert and stuff. I'm believing that it's been a couple of days. Blofeld says his wounds will heal, but Bond's won't, you know. In 3 minutes, this building's going to go down. I can get out quickly, but you got to go to the front door, or you got to find Madeline, who's in here, or like someone that means a lot to you or something like that. I don't think he's quite so upfront about what it is. But Bond then proceeds to sprint up the tower and find Madeline in like a locker behind Judi Denchem's original desk.
It's quite easy, actually.
Yeah, but if you watch the clock, the timer's really going down. He's less than a minute by the time he even finds Madeline. It took him more than a minute to get up there, so he ain't getting down in time. And
I did want to point this out too, because this is just a bit like silly, because they have that conversation, he hits the button, 3 minutes, and within like a minute, Blofeld is on the other side of the river in a helicopter, and it's like, damn, he wasn't kidding when he could get out of there quickly. Did he have a supercar sitting in the tunnels to take him there? I
assumed that the route he had planned out was enough to get him out of the building before demolition to get into the helicopter. I missed the visual shot of the helicopter being on the other side of the river. I thought it was just on the same side of the river, and he just went out the building.
No, he gets into the helicopter on the other side of the river, overlooking the building.
Oh, does he? I completely missed that shot. Right, okay, that is quite funny. Yeah. That's very funny. Maybe he went down to like the boatyard and sped boat across in like 30 seconds. So
he got into like you remember the pipe. The guy. Yeah. I think, what movie was that? Was that a Dalton movie?
Oh yeah, that was Dalton.
He puts the guy into the pipe and shoots him across the border. Yeah.
Yeah. He does. Yeah, that was Dalton's first movie. What was that? The Living Daylights. License to Kill. One of them.
Living Daylights. Yeah.
So, Bond finds Madeline in the locker and gets her out. And at this point, Blofeld's in a helicopter just watching all this unfold, and then he looks down and sees there's like a debris net, which I noticed in your notes you were confused by this. Debris nets are like a well-established thing when you're bringing down buildings and you've hauled out a building and there's like a brick that could fall on people before they're finished the job. Like, you put nets in. That's the thing.
But it's a condemned building.
Yeah.
Like, were they doing stuff in it?
Well, you got to go in and settle the charges.
I guess so.
This is a well established. The debris nets are just a thing in the building.
But why is the net still up? Surely are they just blowing up the net?
You don't see the net. It's corporate waste, Kyle. It's like they put the net in, and then what happens? You remove the net, and then like a brick falls on you, and the disturbance that you're making. Nah, you just leave the net. It's fine. It's cheap. So
can't believe this. This is crazy. Blowing up this building that still exists.
It was going to be the last Daniel Craig one, they didn't care. And yeah, so he takes it and gets the net all the way down and they escape via speedboat as the tunnel's collapsing in the nick of time. They then chase Blofeld's chopper down the Thames. And during this, by the way, we should say that C dies. Has a little
he falls off. He does a very like silly face as he's like, oh no, I'm gonna fall.
He looks like he slipped on a banana peel.
It is like a Three Stooges face he does.
Like, yes. Yeah, and then the camera like does the thing where it pans down and over the ledge to see him dead in the middle, with the logo.
It's very funny. It's almost the exact same shot as this Sherlock.
Yeah. Yeah. So FC,
yeah.
And so now we're chasing Blofeld's chopper down the Thames, heading towards Parliament.
One gets a truly incredible shot with a tiny handgun on the engine of this helicopter.
This would be the play of the game if this was Call of Duty.
It really would.
This is the viral video of like someone throwing a plasma grenade back at someone in Halo 3 matchmaking.
Yeah, so it's Battlefield where you jump off the tank onto a jet plane and then you 360 no-scope a guy.
Yeah, this is crazy. So not only do we take down the chopper, we take it down right on Westminster Bridge. It doesn't even crash in the Thames. It lands on a fucking bridge. We go onto the embankment, we come up, and it's all cordoned off. SWAT teams and armed police are there in seconds. I guess it's because at Parliament there's a lot higher police presence anyway. And then all the police lines, like, they just let Emin team through, even though like they're technically out of a job and they're just like, and to the visual eye, they're just civilians.
Yeah. But Ralph finds he has like the charisma to pull it off. He's like, I'm a government official. To get my
after
way.
he gets through the first police line, he gets to like the SWAT commander, and he's like, Mallory, 00 division, stand these men down. And this SWAT captain must know what that means, So he's like, okay, stand down. And then this is where Bond is like, he's got up and he's speaking to Blofeld, and Blofeld's like, finish it, do it, go on, end it. You beat me. I don't want you to gloat. I just want you to end it, and just we can move on. You can move on.
And look, I will appreciate the cinematic framing they do here, because on one side of the bridge there's M standing there, return to MI6. On the other side is Madeline standing there, and so different life, retirement, all this, and they're both standing perfectly, like exactly the same distance apart from Bond. Yep. So that you get this visual symbolism of like you've got the two paths of his future life.
Yep.
I understand it. I understand what they're going for. I just don't think the movie's earned it.
So he says, I'm not going to kill you. I empty the gun. I've got something better to do. And he just kind of leaves him there. It doesn't even like linger on Blofeld really. He just like doesn't shoot him, then walks away to Madeline. And then that's when M and the police and all that move in on him. And he says, by the Special Protections Act of 2001, I'm placing you under arrest and all that on behalf of Her Majesty's government, That was painfully British here, right outside the Parliament building at night, And I think it really is something that Blofeld isn't visually or like overtly, outwardly a bitter character, but he's got to be bitter watching like his brother that he was always jealous of sort of like swooning away with a woman over the bridge to like do something better, in Bond's own words, than like kill him. So he's not even gloating about beating him, he's just leaving him, which is a lot of sort of, I imagine if Blofeld was a more dramatic character, that stings a lot, surely, You don't even get to die to like end it, like you now got to live in your humiliation. So we kind of fade to black, and then we briefly come back in on Q in his Q bunker, working just on his laptop, and then Bond comes down the elevator, and Q's like, Bond, I thought you were gone. And he's like, yeah, I need one more thing. And it's the DB5, something that all repaired and nice, and we're parked up in Whitehall in London in the DB5, ready to go, and Madeline's there and Bond's there, they're all suited up, and he's got his driving gloves on because he's very English. And then we put that car into first gear and we just shoot off, the Bond theme horning as you drive right, because that's down, Whitehall's like the street outside like Downing Street and stuff. This is all what the Ministry of Defence is. And then there's, Parliament in the background, the Elizabeth Tower. And then we just fade to black slowly as the Bond theme just blasts unforgivingly. A very British end to this film.
To this franchise, you would think, except not.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, definitely. This film was meant to be Daniel Craig's last, and we have many differing opinions on the next movie as to whether or not that should have been the case. This film definitely was seen as a step down from Spectre. I don't think it made as much money as Spectre. Critically, it didn't do as well.
Skyfall.
Skyfall. Yes, my mistake.
It made it the same amount of money as Spectre, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. And they had to. I think that even if this is a step down from Skyfall, they still could have walked away with this. There's a lot of Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson maybe not quite knowing what to do without Daniel Craig, that then allowed them to just give a blank check to Daniel Craig for him to come back on the condition that he essentially gets to have final say on the director that they hire and be a producer on the movie, which has never happened before. And basically Daniel Craig will get to do what he likes as long as he gets to do another one. So this is kind of, this in everyone's mind, this was his last. In Daniel Craig's mind, he made that infamous statement where he said he would rather slit his wrist than make another Bond movie.
He did say that, yes.
Yes.
I remember that, yes.
He was quizzed about it on the Graham Norton show. And he was like, it's a rough shoot. It was a rough shoot and I was just so done. The thought of making another one of these just sounded awful. But yeah, this was him. This was him sailing off into the sunset, a happy Bond ending. We're gonna get a new actor for our next one. It's the year 2015, we've got some time. Until they decided that they actually were too scared to make a Bond movie without Daniel Craig, so gave him a blank check to do one more.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But we'll talk about that one more when we get there, won't we, Kyle?
We'll talk about that a bit more. That was Spectre. I didn't like it very much. Nathan thinks it's fine. That's Yeah.
Pretty much, that's correct.
Nathan, where can the people find you online?
Okay, well, the people online can find me, as always, on social media hosting services such as Twitter and Blue Sky and Threads primarily these days. These are where I inhabit. I also run the @name not included account where we're posting or enter the BondVerse content and other podcast content when we do them. It's been sitting inactive for a while, I won't lie to you, I say this every week, but give us some love and I'll be sure to try and interact with people over there. I'm also in Kel's comment sections from time to time where I'm sure he will tell you about them in a second. Kel, where can the people find you online?
Yes, you can find my comment sections at Kyle the Scott on YouTube, where I do video essays and game critiques. I just did a video on online censorship, which I think was a good video, but didn't do as well as it should, so give that some love, I would appreciate it. And if you're not sick of us yet, you can find our entire backlog here, where we've been through all of the Snyderverse, all of the X-Men Fox movies, almost all of the Bond movies. We've got one left. So that's a heck of a backlog now.
Yep.
And that's mainly us. And thank you very much for listening. And we will see you next time, for the last time, for No Time to Die.